Hello, I'm Matthew and welcome back to our Scale Me Down YouTube channel, where in this series we're constructing, or at least assembling, this almost ready to fly VQ Models Douglas DC-3. Now in the last episode we were doing the centre section and landing gear, and we're going to take a break from that to do some other bits. I promise we will come back to the centre section. As I said earlier, there's lots and lots of wiring to do. But in this episode we're going to make a scale-like, or at least a semi-scale tail wheel, and we're going to fit the tail feathers. As ever, please like or subscribe to support our channel.
So this is the tail wheel assembly as supplied in the kit, and it's not bad, but I think we can do a bit better using some strip and tube brass from our local model shop. Here we're cleaning the brass with emery paper before sticking masking tape down. And cutting out a template from scrap cardboard. And now roughly cutting out the shape using tin snips. We must punch the centres before drilling on the pillar drill, gripping the brass with mole grips to save our fingers in case the drill bit grabs. And now to the bench sander to tidy up the shape before bending the brass around something round. Here I am tinning the parts with fresh solder and flux. And annealing the brass tubing with a butane soldering torch. Although the tubing and M3 threaded rod still took quite a bit of effort to bend. Before the parts could be finally soldered together. So I decided to use SketchUp to draw some custom brackets that we could 3D print to fix the tail wheel in place. And it's quite a simple program, and the shapes are quite simple, so in real time it only took about 5 minutes to draw the parts and then around 20 minutes to print them. And now over to our CR10S 3D printer to make the parts. And this is the smaller of our two FDM printers. We use Pritt Stick to ensure the parts adhere to the build platform. And here is the finished part ready to fit to the aeroplane. And as you can see, there's not much difference in weight compared to the original tailwheel. And now to the tail feathers. And the control surfaces are hinged using furry mylar type hinges. And not all of them were fixed correctly out of the box. So here we're using CA, cyanoacrylate glue that is, to make sure they are fixed properly. Top tip, when using this thin CA, get the debonder out at the same time, as it's dead easy to have quite a serious accident. As belt and braces, I drill with a 1.5mm drill and dowel the hinges using cocktail sticks and CA glue. Top marks to VQ models here, as in with the decals was a self-adhesive sheet of silver covering material. With a hole punch we can make little circles to cover the dowels completely. The control horns are much easier to fit if we trim these little corners with the side cutters. And they're also much easier to fit at this stage. Before we mix the epoxy, we need to remove the covering from the mating surfaces. Use several light passes with a sharp blade, making sure we don't cut into the wood at all. Here I am gluing the tail surfaces into position with slow setting epoxy. It's really important that we check, double check and recheck that the tail plane is dead horizontal, and to do that I've slipped the tube wing spar into position to line it up with. Then we can check that the fin is exactly at 90 degrees to the tail plane. We'll check all this from a number of different orientations. Here we will clamp the elevators at neutral to help with the alignment.
So we got loads done this time, and it's nice to finally see her up on her wheels. Please like or subscribe to support the channel, and tune in for the next instalment.